Hello, everyone. We've returned. It is Wednesday night, and I'm pausing the music. I think you couldn't hear it anyway, but that doesn't matter. Still don't have anything prepared for this. I don't know what to fill the space. This is normally where you'd have like sponsor bits or something. I don't have any of those. Um, so why delay what we're here to do? Why doesn't Quinn give us the recap of last week?
All right, rapid fire. We headed out of the hamlet that we had ended off in with Vanya. Talked along the way, told her about the war a little bit. She told us a little bit about what she was doing, hunting bandits, looking for one in particular that she has a vendetta against. Didn't really go into detail. Uh, as we are getting close to a small group of buildings, like a way stop along the road, we spot a hawk, and thinking that it might either be a scout or familiar, we try to take a shot at it. Doesn't work. So we're pretty sure that the bandits know we're coming. We continue on anyway, get to the small hamlet of Authorn, and just pretty much get into a fight right away. We go in, bandits attack us, we beat the bandits, a couple of them get away, but overall, I'd say it's a pretty good victory for our first level 1 combat. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, Titan checks in on all the party members, tries to make sure everyone's okay. Some people are better at hiding it than others. Most of them aren't very good at hiding it. Not doing great. First kills.
Mm-hmm.
But the younger the girls' night, decide to check out the northwesternmost house, which had a bunch of barring and barbed wire on the door, that seemed to be keeping people out of it rather than keeping something in. As we break through the window and climb through, Lilith spots a deck of cards on the table, tarot-like cards, and with a 3-card layout already spread, and begins flipping through them, as nice smells and warm breezes begin to fill the tavern. She continues flipping through them until she flips the last one. The deck seems to magically shuffle itself back together and wrap itself up nicely in a cloth. And then she just starts feeling really tired, like she wants to take a nap on that nice bed. So she goes and sits down and then finds out she can't stand back up, even though she tried. And that's where we left off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add?
I think it's important to add that Vanya was quite impressed with us
Yes, she was.
after
Mm-hmm.
this fight. I think that's a step in a good direction.
Yeah. Um, I think Vanya was impressed, and likewise, even bleeding out through the DM was also surprised and impressed because it went very smoothly for an encounter that I thought was going to be a lot more dangerous. Which is to say, it wasn't, just that it went well. Um, Much to the party's benefit. If there is nothing else to say, we will pick back up where we left off last week with Lilith and Audie inside this very clean abode that is comfortable and warm and relaxing, with Roz outside the window catching the occasional whiff of this lavender and cinnamon and incense smell. Where it seems as if Audie and Lilith are having a hard time willing themselves out. Clearly something amiss. Lilith, you were currently sitting on the bed. Uh, your legs quite content to keep you there. Audie, likewise, you're in the corner of the room, busting off yawns that are making everyone else yawn, or just me. And likewise not particularly motivated to want to leave. Versus Roz, you've not been affected in any such manner, at least not yet. And it is very clear that something is screwy. So, if you all would like to pick up there, by all means.
Should I have had a wisdom save or anything, or is that just for the bed? I guess I haven't tried to leave yet. Maybe that's it.
Might be.
Might be. Well, doors have two handles different ways, or does it look barred from the inside as well?
It does not look barred from the inside. It
All
does.
right,
It does have
well.
like a standard lock.
In her sleepy stupor, Audie is going to try the door handle and be like, "Let's go, guys."
Oh, you'll notice that it is locked, but easy enough fix. You can just turn the mechanism.
Yeah.
But with your actively trying to leave the space, please make a wisdom save, Audie.
Aha, I figured it out.
Yeah.
That's 6.
You hear Roz's, statement that you should probably get out. And you don't really see a good reason. You guys just went through something hard. This place is really nice, comfortable. You should probably take a break here.
We tried, Rose. We just let's be back on an hour. It's fine.
No. Get out of there. What are you doing?
I'm guessing this is something we can't continue to hammer at.
You and Lilith, not currently. Not right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You two just stay put. I'll go get everyone else and don't fall asleep.
Why did she say that? Sleep sounds like such a great idea, though.
I know, right? Oh, maybe she wants everyone else to sleep. They're probably tired too.
She probably wants to share this, right? Yeah. And Audie's kind of like hunched, like leaning against the wall, kind of stabilizing herself with one arm on the chair. So it's like,
Okay.
Like if the breeze were any stiffer in here, she'd just fall on the floor,
Roz is making her way.
Oh, there's an adult.
Cutting between the cottages. Yep, looking for an adult.
Corona, I need your help with something.
What the hell's going on? I heard you screaming.
At the cottage across the way, Lilith and Audie aren't willing to come out. I think there's something magical going on in there.
Magic. Okay. Let me get the duck. I don't know much about magic, but keep an eye on him.
Uh-huh.
We'll be there soon. And Corona's gonna get up, from the wall, and head on over to see if the duck and Ivania are at the tavern. And yeah, they are.
They are. Yeah, they're inside. Vanya's currently tearing off a turkey leg from this large roasted bird on the table. There's just this huge feast laid out across both tables. You can see that the tavern's clearly been very lived in. Things scattered across every table like it's been used. And Vanya's clearly like gesturing at Titan with the turkey leg as if had been in mid-sentence as you walk in.
She takes a quick look, but not, she's the other situation's more pressing, and she's like, hate to interrupt dinner, but we got a bit of a situation with the girls, Titan.
Oh, what's going on?
Apparently in one of the cottages there might be some sort of magic putting them to sleep.
Well, that's not a good thing. Not really the time for sleeping.
No. Figured I'd reach out to either of you in case you knew magic. It's not really my,
Well, I can't really cast anything, but I can figure out what's going on.
I think that's good enough.
Right. And Titan kind of puts down, the large chunk of turkey breast that he's been munching on.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves. It's been a while since he's had meat.
Yeah, if y'all don't mind, I'll follow along. I might be able to help with some creative problem solving if the need arises.
I ain't got no problem with it.
Right. They're just right this way.
As you all are making your way back, Lilith, Adi, you're both there. Some time has passed. Make another wisdom save for me.
What could go
3.
wrong?
Wow.
Same. Well, for a 4, because I have a +1.
Wow.
Wow.
Really bad. Yeah, you both fall unconscious.
Yeah, with a large yawn, Audie just kind of slides down the wall and just boom, her rump hits the floor and she's just asleep in the corner. She's like,
Wait, y'all are telling me they went into the cabin with this obviously great effort of trying to keep people out of it?
Probably were curious, if I had to guess.
Yes, just like the tavern in the other town, huh? All right.
Not the time. Not the
Yeah,
time. We
yeah,
just
yeah,
need to
of
get
course.
them out.
Yeah, all right, Doc. What's the plan?
Titan looks in, sees them sleeping. He was told this seems to be some sort of magical effect.
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll on my Arcana, see if how much I know about magical sleep?
Yeah, sure.
An 11.
Well, sleep spells are a fairly basic type of magic. They're usually quite potent, especially for common folks. There's usually something that needs to be held as the focus that would enact this. If it's been applied to a home or a building like this, it could be laced in any way, such as if there's like incense that have been burned, or even like if it was the sand for the material component worked into the paint on the walls, it could permeate the whole house and then have a trigger effect, such as needing to have a specific item on yourself for it not to activate.
Okay. Then Titan will relay this information. We need to look for the source. If we can get it out of there, we could probably wake them up. Although I'm not confident in my ability to face a magical sleep spell right now. Nor am I confident in my ability to squeeze through this window.
It seems like there was some sort of nice scent that they were noticing. Would that be relevant at all?
It probably is, yes. That might be the source. If you could find some incense or something in the fireplace, maybe. But be careful. If it's got Lilith, it's probably pretty potent.
Might I recommend? I can just, make another entryway. Might just, break the effect. Hypothetically.
I'm so glad I wasn't the first person to think of that.
As long as it doesn't risk them.
Well, I mean, to be honest, a tiny bit of risk. Not a huge amount of risk.
Where should I go in?
I mean, they're
I don't know
asleep.
how long it'll be before bandits get here. If it's quick, I say do it.
Oh, I can go to it quick.
I mean, I can also go to it quick. And she pulls out a basically a small metallic sphere about the size of a softball with a wick sticking out of it. I can just chuck this in through the chimney. And then the wall and the chimney attached to it will magically cease to exist.
And that won't hurt Audie or Lilith in any way.
Where are they? Steps back inside to
Yeah,
look through the window. Hypothetically, they should be fine.
I don't like risking their safety on hypotheticals.
Well, I'm just saying it's the quickest, most reliable way of probably getting through the situation. But yeah, if you want to sit here and posture some more, by all means.
I absolutely want to posture more, and I take out my wood cutting axe and I start hitting the building.
Okay. Yeah, make an attack roll.
First one's a natural one.
Yep. Bounces off the slate exterior.
Well, the next one's better. It's a 23.
Oh yeah, that's much better.
Is this wood or?
It is not. The exterior of these cabins appear to be some sort of like stone.
Much harder than I thought. In that case, that might not do anything. 12 damage.
You make a nick in it. Like, you think if you took another couple swings, you would probably be able to break through this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Swing away.
Just high to hit and another 12.
Yeah. Basically, if you roll over a 15, sufficient. Yeah, 12. The second blow, you chip away a bunch of the exterior, and you do realize that the layer on the outside that the stone is pretty thin. It's about an inch thick. Beneath it is, in fact, wood.
Oh, good. 16, 14 damage.
Yep. You're just whittling away at it. The stone is coming off kind of in now large chunky sections, and you're now affecting the wood underneath.
I'm gonna catch you both eventually. Natural 20.
Very nice.
For 20 damage.
Yeah. I mean, there is now a hole sufficient for someone to crawl through if necessary, but that's what a window is. So, yeah. We can skip past the mundanity of this. It'll take you several swings. About a solid minute or so, a little more than that will pass. When you've eventually made enough of a size of a gap in the wall that you could bodily walk through it. Titan would still have to squeeze a wee bit, but, you know, it's sufficient. And I'm just going to kind of cheat this and make the window bigger.
All right. Well, I'll go in and try to get him, I guess.
Wait, hang on. I'm all means for, whatever methods you want, but given what's happened to your other friends so far, how about we tie some rope off on you so we can reel you back in like a fish should you also,
I think
get
that's a
sleepy
great
out.
idea.
Yeah? All right.
I got rope. Yeah, let's see. Just tie it around your waist. That should be good enough.
Make a sleight of hand check, Corona.
Sure. Yeah, well,
Sufficient.
12.
Yeah, it's doable. And short of something like purposely going out of its way to undo the knot, you think it'll hold fine.
Okay. All right. I
yeah.
think you're all set.
All right. Wish me luck. For what it's worth, I am going to hold my breath in case the scent is doing it.
You step inside, rope tied around your waist. You're not inhaling it, but you still catch the scent of like a bit light lavender and cinnamon on the air. And you step inside. You immediately notice that there is a warmth to the interior of this cabin that was not outside, and it is extremely comforting.
I can't phase through the wall, but I'm going to try to get
Oh.
Audie.
Weird, because I figured you could step to the window, but there you go. Okay, you can go over to Audie
Grab.
and pick her up. And then you're going to go, let's leave. To which I'm going to ask you to make a wisdom save.
11.
Okay.
That's better than anything we've rolled so far.
It is, yeah. It's at least double digits. You pick up Audie, and you heft her over her shoulder like a sack of grain. And as you turn about to leave the way you came, you do immediately feel like this wash of lethargy kind of rush over you. And you kind of stifle a yawn, and you're able to continue heading back the way you came.
Okay. Okay, good. Drop the Audie.
Yep, Audie will be outside.
Oh. All right. Girl number 2.
Mm-hmm. You go over to Lilith and you pick her up. You intend to leave. Make another wisdom save.
Dude, it's really good that Titan wasn't the one that fell asleep.
This is better. 19.
Oh, much better.
Hey, nice.
Yeah. Your senses seem to catch back up to what they were outside with your adrenaline pumping, and you finally actually realize your adrenaline is still pumping due to the circumstance and the unknown happenings going on. And you go to pick up Lilith and you leave.
Oh, that place made me so sleepy.
Audie, make a wisdom save.
Right.
Yeah, kind of
12.
noticed.
Okay. Tired, but you come back around too. Like, you know that feeling after just having woken up from a nap? Just kind of like not quite awake, but kind of getting there, and then you're fine.
I kind of just look up. Hi. Why is everybody here?
You fell
Mm.
asleep, Melody.
Oh, I was very comfy inside.
Ben, you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying, well, I know this is slightly retro. I'm a bit slow today. While Roz was breaking through the wall, Titan would have gone and stood on this corner so we can see both prisoners and the
I noticed.
situation here. So that's all. Keep going.
Well, perfectly relevant. Titan, as you get to that corner, you do realize both of them have come to, and the kobold looks like he's undone his binds. Pardon me. The dragon has undone his binds. And he's currently getting up, looking at the bandit that's next to him, saying something, and then it looks like he's about to turn to run.
Then Titan will call the prisoners escaping, and he'll move down there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He can only really get to there, though, and still be able to do things.
Yeah. I suppose to keep things fair and equal, we're going to start an encounter.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
So, let's add all of our fine folks. The encounter. Come on, Roz. Highlight. There we go. roll some initiative. Okay. And the combat's going to begin. And appropriately, the small dragon eye who freed himself through a great deal of wriggling, considered his compatriot, and then saw this hulking white dragon eye come running around the corner, yelps and runs with pretty much no preamble whatsoever. It's Vanya's turn. Vanya's going to run to there, going to dash to there, going to dash thrice because bonus action dash, and we'll end her turn there. Titan.
Okay. 10. Titan's gonna go to 30 here. And again, he doesn't like using it, but he needs range right now. He's gonna pull out his crossbow and try and shoot him.
Okay. Fire away.
And that one. Titan is no good at shooting.
Yeah. It falls kind of just behind the mage, and it skitters along the stone.
All right, that's it for Titan.
Okay. Melody, you've just come to.
So Melody will again just kind of a little groggy, kind of sitting up, getting her wits about her. Lilith hasn't woken up yet. Yes? No?
Nope, not yet.
No. Yeah, so Audie's gonna kind of reach over and like give her a shove. She's like, Lilith, you got to wake up. Been asleep. Come on. And just like shaking her, flicking the tip of her ear, like, being a nuisance.
Rude, but fair. If you are willing to use your action to do so, you can shake her awake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll be doing that.
In which case, Lilith, you are now awake. Melody, anything else for your turn?
No. No. That's it.
No? Okay. Yeah. Just for you guys, I'm gonna turn the ambience. I had this track, I didn't get to use it, but I really like the style. Corona.
Let me see. I guess just to be sure, dashing as a bonus action isn't like a universal thing, is it?
Nope.
No? Okay. Just double checking. Okay. In that case, she is going to move over here. She's not gonna desert the girls. She'll use her bonus action to help her full action to help Lilith up from prone.
Sure, no problem.
And I think that'll be it.
Okay. What supportive friends? Lilith, you are no longer prone. You are no longer asleep. You've come to the sound of Titan's billowing voice shouting that a prisoner has escaped.
She like blinks awake from like Audie flicking her ear. And, I mean, Audie shouting is like not a thing, but as close as it gets. And then being yanked up to her feet, kind of stumbles. Right. Outside now. Okay. Which way?
Round the corner, over there.
Just everybody points.
She will move and dash. That is her turn.
Okay.
She doesn't get the bonus action dash yet.
Nope. Soon though. Roz.
Hey, rope trailing out from behind Roz's waist.
Oh yeah,
A full dash from here to there.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still basically reach the rope too. It's crazy.
That's my turn.
Okay. The mage is going to continue fleeing at top speeds. It's Vanya's turn. She's going to walk out into the middle of the road, unsling her rifle off her shoulder, take a knee, and then kind of sight down the rifle. Hey, Titan, do you not mind if I kill this one? Benny with us?
Yeah. Go ahead, shoot him down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she'll take her shot. Yeah, like I said, she lines up the shot, pretty confident in her aim. Natural 18, which is sufficient.
Well, that's great.
For a whopping 8 piercing damage. The Dragonite Mage has made it a good distance down the road, and he's hurrying as much as his little legs can carry him. And then there's this loud thunder crack shot that fills the open air, and he just falls face first into the cobbles, dead. Combat is over. Well, I managed to kill one more of them. I feel a little bit better about that. You sure you want me to go, put the other one down too, so there's, they don't go running away?
We still need information from that one.
All right. Yeah, fair. Well, I'm gonna go pull the body out of the road. Y'all do what you got to do. Meanwhile, elsewhere.
I'm just gonna take a seat next to this bandit.
Very much awake, very angry looking, still struggling at her bindings.
Roof day.
The woman turns and looks at you, Roz, and just absolute fury in her eyes. Continues to struggle.
Yeah, I get that. It's been an odd day for every one of us.
You really ought to stop doing that.
She doesn't.
Corona gets up, sighs. She's gonna deck her.
All right. You don't need to roll or do
Non-lethally?
anything.
Obviously, yeah, non-lethally.
Yeah, this is a person who's bound and already quite badly beaten. I'll just let you reduce them to 0 but stable.
Yeah, just to knock them out again, basically.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I can't put them at 0 because it'll turn them into a blood splatter. So just be aware.
Yeah, yep. It's all good.
And yeah, Corona, you knock their lights out. They go unconscious.
Ain't worth the trouble. Not right now. Assuming from the shot, is the other one dealt with?
Looks like it.
Vanya comes up from the north. Oh, yeah. I put that little bastard down. He's behind the tavern right now. What's left of him, anyway.
Well, this one's knocked out again. Everyone all right? You two girls that were sleeping, you doing okay?
Yeah, I feel fine. Just it's coming back to me. Definitely something up with that house.
Audie has the decency to look slightly embarrassed. And it's just like, just nodding.
Hey, should I go, like, take down the house? Is it like a danger to be left alone kind of thing?
Mm.
Just seemed to put us to sleep.
I mean, if it's a smell thing, I don't know if breaking the house and letting that smell go elsewhere might make it more dangerous or not.
Well, I mean, I could just burn it to the ground. Magic ceases to function after a point when it's, stuff it's attached to is gone.
It's fair.
Could be somebody come back for the house though. Then they'll be very mad. Don't get on the wrong side of a mage. They're angry beasts.
Yeah, you can go tell that to the one who doesn't have a head anymore. But yeah, all right. I mean, I'll let you all decide what to do with the weird sleepy house. I'm gonna go back inside and enjoy myself a nice pint.
Should we drag them inside so we can interrogate them later?
Yeah. At this point, I don't think it's worth just leaving them outside. Let me double knot them. And let me grab that rope from you, Roz.
Oh, I'm still trailing a rope.
Yep. Made you easy to follow.
Is that how you got us out?
No, I got you out by walking in and carrying you out.
That
With
was
a
just in
rope?
case Roz fell asleep.
Oh, clever. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Nobody
your
knows
fault.
exactly what it was.
Just let it be a lesson to not be too curious next time.
Hoping to find something useful.
I did grab that deck of cards.
Audie looks at Lilith like wide-eyed, like, "Oh my goodness, you did that, did you?"
No
It wrapped
way.
itself up for me. Seemed rude not to take it, right?
Yeah.
So the deck of cards that magically reshuffled itself together, you took that.
Yes.
Good. I don't know what else you want me to say. It's probably valuable or something.
Maybe. Might be magical. Well, definitely magical, unless it was some other magic doing that.
Make it magical.
Either way, let's get inside, huh?
You can see Vanya's been busying herself. She's cleared this end of this one long table and has set out a bunch of pewter mugs and has topped them all up with this lovely frothy ale. And there's a turkey that's clearly been cut into a bit, and like a whole ham and just baked rolls and bread and jams and butter and all kinds of things spread across the table. And there's a bunch of fruits and things cut up on the other. Several of the tables are occupied with leftover meals, bags, books, a game of cards that were currently being played. The bar still looks well stocked, with plenty of unopened bottles of wine and a couple of bottles of spirits.
I suppose it would be a waste to just leave it all here to rot, right?
That's right.
Well, I went out of my way to pour you all a glass. Yeah, job well done and all that.
Did you drink some?
I have, yes. I'm on my second, as a matter of fact. Do you think the bandits were poisoning their meals in anticipation that someone came and killed them all?
Well, I mean, if they did that whole thing with the house up there, I don't think anything's off the table.
I don't think that was the bandits.
Agreed.
Don't seem bright enough.
No, they looked like they went great lengths to make sure they didn't have an idiot stumble in there. But I guess, it takes a special kind of idiot to find their way in.
You gotta stop with that.
What?
Audie scowls across the table.
Oh,
Could have been something valuable in there. You wouldn't know. You would have done to it or something.
Yeah.
Seen her.
No, not really. There are signs, you see, like when a thing's covered in chains and razor wire to deter people from entering.
Means it's really valuable.
Was it? Was what you got out of there really valuable?
Could have been. We didn't know until we found out.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I don't travel with people like y'all do. Decisions like that get me killed. So that's why I'm calling, y'all foolhardy. Because in a different circumstance, it just meant you died.
Well, they didn't die, and with all due respect, you call either of my friends over there idiots one more time, and we're going to have it out in the street.
Was that supposed to scare me?
No, but I'm going to stand up to my friends, or for my friends, rather.
Oh, well, I mean, that's nice. You should.
Now, I propose, instead of calling each other idiots all the time, we drink these nice brews, we gather up everything here into sacks, and we get ready to go home.
Well, the bandits collected a bunch of goods from people they've probably murdered and or robbed and or both while they've been here over yonder in the corner. I've already taken some bits and bobbles for myself, but I figured I'd be nice and leave the rest for y'all. And Vanya gestures to the corner where there's a chest just absolutely brimming with silver and bits and various pieces of like silver and gold and iron goods, along with these huge gold ingots that are stacked up in the corner.
Thanks. Thanks, Vanya.
Mm.
You'll have to forgive all of us. We're a little new and or rusty at this whole adventuring thing. We lived very quiet lives in a village down the road until displaced. I think these are good lessons in caution.
I mean, yeah, and they're not always going to be delivered so nicely, and you're not always going to be so fortunate. I might be mean about it, but it doesn't make it wrong. Either way.
Tight knots.
Get your stuff.
Like I said, we appreciate your experience.
Yeah, y'all might want to also go turn over the longhouse over there. It looks like the bandits spent some time in there too, and there might be some other stuff worth taking with you.
I can go take a look.
As a bunch of people go marching out of the tavern with great purpose.
Absolutely not. I'm staying here and drinking. Thank you.
Fair.
Yeah.
If it looks like it's just Lilith going, then Krona's gonna follow her.
Does appear to be that.
Okay. And if she has to, she'll bring the body with her.
That's okay. Leave. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Titan would
leave.
communicate with Corona and be like, one of us watch the body, one of us go watch Lilith. But if you're willing to go to Lilith, Titan will watch.
Okay.
But so yeah, a
Okay.
bunch of people are in the tavern. I don't think you have to be worried about
No.
this very unconscious bandit going anywhere.
She doesn't have to, but she probably would just because she's stubborn.
That's
But
fair.
if Titan's willing to look over it, then yeah, that's good enough for her.
Well, you'll add a jog, catch up to Lilith. Lilith, you enter into the longhouse. You could tell once upon a time these were very simple lodgings to house people that were coming here, like merchant caravans or convoys, just to provide them a comfortable place to rest and stay. The bandits have since overturned quite a bit of it, and broken it down for firewood or destroyed it for fun. You're not entirely certain, given that some of it looks like it's just been burned and is like left in charcoal in the corner. Some of the beds have been clearly slept in, and very purposely, it seems like several of the footlockers have been gathered on the western side of the building. If you were to be so bold as to go investigate them, you were to find them filled with a bunch of extra equipment. A couple of sets of armor, more weapons.
I'm gonna look over her shoulder and see Corona. Armor and weapons, by the looks of it, might be a bit hard to carry this all back, but we can take what we can lift.
Sure.
I've
Where
updated the loot sheet to accommodate how many of the things you have found.
Ooh, nice. Oh yeah, okay. Makes sense. Worst case, we could sell some stuff. Get some silver out of it. None of this looks like it's real for me, though. Though I wouldn't mind that dagger.
Well, there's like 6 of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some hidden there. Oh. That's all this place was for, is storage and sleeping?
Looks like it. Well, we'll do like a few minutes of just looking around, making sure none of the bandits had like a hidden compartment. They kept a bunch of stuff from the other bandits or something.
Fair. You can make an investigation check, Lilith.
Well, if there's one thing Lilith says consistently, it's roll good on the things I gave her expertise in, apparently.
Good habit to have.
25 total.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I mean, so Corona, you begin sort of organizing things, taking stock of what's all here, so you can sort of report back and be like, all right, this is what we found. Meanwhile, Lilith, you're kind of just sort of daintily going over things, seeing how the bandits use this space, kind of seeing where certain things have been moved, understanding what kind of happened here as they spent more time here. But you do notice on the floors of next to one of the beds, there are drag marks, like someone had been pivoting the bed back and forth repeatedly, worn into the wood. And so you kind of daintily, like hip check the bed frame aside, and you can tell that there's a floorboard that's been fussed with.
She very audibly does like an aha, and she's gonna try to peel back. Well, she'll check the floorboard over very carefully, just to make sure it's not trapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, make an investigation check.
Even higher, 26.
Oh yeah. It's good you stopped. As you stop and you sort of investigate it, kind of running like the edge of your knife around the edge of the plank, you kind of wedge it up a little, and right on the underside, you can tell they've left some needles attached to the board for someone to grab and lift up. So you can wedge it up with your knife and avoid the threat. Once you do realize the needles appear to be dipped in poison.
Corona, just a heads up, I'm gonna leave this board over here that's got poison needles on it. She places it down to the side.
Okay.
She will look inside.
Inside, there is a coin purse, and 2 glass vials, one filled with a green liquid, one filled with a red. And that's it.
She will pick all of them up.
Hey, hope you don't
Hmm?
mind me asking, but how do you know how to do all that stuff?
Kind of lowers her head and thinks for a moment. I guess I've just always liked solving puzzles, and this is just kind of a dangerous puzzle.
You haven't been solving puzzles in people's houses back
But
in Greenwood, have?
No.
She lowers herself a little bit to like look at Lilith and like not like leer at her, but just like, narrows her eyes and then says, "All right, I believe you."
Knew we shouldn't have trusted the elf girl.
I believe you. I don't think we would have gone this far if any single one of us tried to do any backstabbing. Besides, you're just as affected by all this as all of us. We should probably let them know what we found. I think I got stock of what's in here.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I know I wasn't in Greenwood as long as everyone else, but I do care for all the people there.
I know. You mentioned that before. Back at the farm.
You remember that.
Sure do. Don't forget much.
She gives a nod and replaces the floorboard so it doesn't just, get stepped on by somebody.
Fair.
She will take the potions in the coin purse.
Okay. Back in the tavern, is there any conversations going on that should be we should all be privy to? Or have people just been drinking and eating to their fulfillment?
I've definitely been drinking and eating, but across the table at Audie. So, how's your first adventure going so far?
So far, quite well. Haven't died. Can't be really that angry about it.
Some of the nerves and fears starting to abate. Feeling good.
But I wasn't as killing, but that's alright. Like to be more talking to killing, but
And if they hadn't put a crossbow bolt through Corona's chest first thing they saw us, we probably would have talked to him.
they didn't seem interested in talking.
No, they did not. Outnumbered and bound, and that one over there still wanted to kill us. These are not reasonable people.
Clearly outbrained.
Oh well. Sucks to be them.
What kind of question we got for him anyway?
What's that?
What kind of question we got for him anyway? Keeping him alive, but why?
Tell us where your masters are. What's the meeting over west for? I don't know.
She kind of just nods like, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's that or kill him, and frankly, I don't want to just kill someone who's helpless, no matter how much of an asshole they are.
I have a feeling when we're ready to let him go, Vanya's probably going to hunt him down out of orbit anyway.
Or end up killing someone else?
Maybe. But it just doesn't feel right for some reason. Executing a harmless person, well, not harmless, helpless. They start doing all that stuff. We find him again. Next time we're not so nice.
Very idyllic of you.
I'm not a nice lady. I just want her to go far and wide and tell people what happened here.
And you will assume she will give up her abandoning ways and, help those along the road versus just sticking a knife in them, taking their stuff, going to the next?
I'm assuming that what happened here is going to stick with her. And if she's got any brains at all, which she might not, given the circumstances, that if she ever sees us emerging on this part of the world again, she's smart enough to be afraid, and that she's convinced her friends that we're not to be messed with. Anyway, cheers. What do you drink for something? Put alcohol in your mouth.
Look,
And
in
Audie's-
Corona, this is where you're coming back.
Okay.
Audie has like a mouthful of food already, and she's kind of like, as well as was just beer.
Hi, welcome back.
Hey. Found some stuff.
Oh, that's good. Did you get anything good?
More weapons, couple potions, and however much is in this. And she holds up the coin purse.
All right, well, I'm just finishing up eating here. Gonna start gathering up all that nice looking stuff in the corner.
We'll set the 2 vials down on the table next to Titan. Here you go, Doc.
Thanks. Thanks. I'll have a look at these and figure out what they do.
Lilith, you hear her voice in your head. And
Oh,
if you
here we go.
feel like he can't help, I certainly could.
All right, that was kind of your specialty, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. I feel like we should probably have a sit down and talk about ways that I can help if I'm going to be tagging along for a while.
Oh, sure. If you think you can help? Any help is great with me.
When it's appropriate, we can talk about it again.
Hit me up anytime.
Why would I want to hit you?
Don't worry about it.
You feel a little bit of like disconcert in your head, like uncertainty, confusion, maybe a bit of judgment for realizing the kind of person you might be.
Lilith is saying nothing out loud, but she's making faces.
Do you open up the coin purse, Lilith?
Yeah.
Okay. Inside the coin purse, unsurprisingly, bunch of silver coins, bunch of bits, and you can see sparkling amongst them a handful of smaller, lesser quality gemstones. If you sit down and take like 5 minutes to count it all, you can get an exact number.
She'll do that while she's munching on some food.
Would you like me to add it just directly onto the loot
Yeah.
sheet? Or okay, will do.
She's not that kind of rogue. She's not skimming off the top.
Not yet. Just wait until you get the klepto ghost.
Oh no.
That being said, now that you all are here, you've gathered pretty much all of the goods and belongings, or at least taken stock of them. you have a chance to eat food, eat and be merry for the time being. But you all know you are on a clock. What do the plans look like?
It's a good question.
What time is it?
Great question. It's about 4 p.m.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Starts getting dark when?
Great question. Hang on. I
Based
don't know
on
how to
the
use everything
sun's
yet.
position at this 4 p.m.
About
I'd say
6.
around 6.
Mm-hmm. That would be a really smart way if that's how that UI works. Thanks for pointing that out, Ben.
Yeah, I think the sun was moving across.
Only one way to find out. Yep. And probably closer to 7 based off of that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there you go.
No,
Oh, it even transitions. Crazy. Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
Neat.
Foundry VTT.
The simple calendar module. Whoa.
All right. So we gather up what we can. We may have to leave a bunch of the weapons and armor behind. What do you think? We get out into the woods, cold camp it, so that the ones who run away can't find us again?
Makes sense to me so far. What do we do about the one that we captured, though?
Keep hitting her
Gotta
when she
ask
wakes
our
up.
question.
Still unconscious, by the way.
Are we gonna ask them here, or are we gonna drag them with us?
Well, unless we plan to kill him after, I don't think we should drag him with us.
I disagree. I think the best option is to drag them with us. If we find ourselves unable to get information from them, we can always bring them back to the Merc camp. They'll have more specialized people in information gathering.
That's fair.
And worst case, you can just leave him with me.
Worst case, we can just leave them with Vanya. Or her with Vanya.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, can we at least put a gag in their mouth?
They are gagged.
They are gagged.
Oh, good.
This one is gagged, bound by the wrists, and bound by the ankles.
All
Perfect.
right. So, are we playing a game to figure out who carries her?
I'll
If
carry
you
her.
guys are willing to carry the loot, I can carry her.
I don't care what I need to carry, I'll just help with whatever's left to carry.
All right, then. Let's gather up what we can.
So short version, basically out of the loot list, other than the gemstones I've yet to add, because I don't know where they might be in a compendium yet, figure out what you want to take amongst the weapons and armor, and all the other lootables. And there are backpacks and things aplenty and footlockers in the longhouse and stuff, so you just kind of figure that out and what you want to take. And we're going to take a break right now, so you can kind of quickly mull that over, or one person can just kind of tabulate stuff, and when we come back, you can decide what you want to take and see where you're going to go.
Cool.
But as per usual, always around break time, I really got to go pee, so see you in a few. And we're back. Hello. We are now rested and drinked and sorted some items, and we'll continue sorting items as we figure out how to store them and keep track of them. But until such a time, we've sat back in Authern, where the party has spent some time eating, drinking, relaxing, maybe going to interrogate a bandit, gathered all their goods. Actually, I guess I should ask, are you guys intending to actually try to question the bandit here, or are you just going to drag her back to camp and let the experts handle it?
Titan would want to do some questioning, but not while we're in the village. He wants to get away from there.
Okay.
No objections to that.
So the plan is pack up and go.
Mhm.
Sure. Like I said, I know you guys did a bunch of inventorying during the break. But as I came in on, is there any plans as to what to do with the several sets of armor? Or are you just gonna call it a loss?
I have no
think-
plan.
I think the plan is to call it a loss.
Okay.
Unless if like Vanya wants them or something, but
I mean, Vanya has a passing interest. She might, during the time that she's here, break down like one or two for spare parts. But also doesn't have a great desire to carry all that extra weight in her handcart either. All right. So you guys have your stuff. And I'm pretty happy that this place has been cleared out of bandits. And y'all looking like you got ants in your pants, so you're gonna be heading off soon, shortly, yeah?
We're on a bit of a timetable.
Plus, I just don't think it's wise to stick around here. The bandits will be back.
Yep, especially with all the runners. Which is why I'm gonna go find another place to go camping for a little bit and wait until the first seckers show back up and try to put a bolt in the most important looking one.
You know, there might be some other groups, maybe us, who comes back out here sometime soon.
Which means more bandits are gonna get killed. Sounds
Uh-huh.
like a good idea.
Just, I wanted to put it in your head that where we came from, there's a lot of resources, and they're always looking for more hands.
Right. I mean, that's not a bad pitch to join your war effort. But in my defense, there's another war here that needs to be fought too, and there ain't that many people doing that. So unless y'all can send somebody that can or convince me otherwise that it's not my best interest to stay here where my vendetta is.
You've been very helpful. None of us are going to try and force you into something you don't want to do. But if there are people that are going to be able to help you fight this fight, they are gathering where our camp is.
and you might be able to
The
make a
very
case
least
for
we
what you need to do.
Yeah, precisely. You can have a chance to plead your case, and I know they can bring you back here. They brought us here after all.
What's the food situation like?
Crap.
Hmm.
But I'm
There's a
pretty sure you
brothel?
can buy that. Yeah.
There's
And-
a brothel, there's craftsmen, there's smithies, there's guns. And we're working on the food situation. Though it is crap right now.
Well, I'm just gonna say if Miss Corona's gun is any example as to what the situation of the gun situation is, y'all also need to work on that too. That's an that's an antique.
I bought the cheapest thing. We didn't exactly get much money to buy the fanciest stuff. Plus, I'm just a beginner anyway.
Somebody in the group that's contributed, roll a persuasion check.
Not me. No.
I think Roz, of the three of us, has the best charisma.
I got
If
12.
your modifier is higher than 0, then you've got maybe.
So
Oh, wow.
+2.
Okay, yeah. It's you.
14 + 2, 16.
It's really good. Vanya leans back in her chair, kind of, balancing on the hind two legs, sipping from her pewter mug of ale. So the food is shite, your weapons are shite, but you're working on it. And there are people there that might be able to help me deal with the problem out here. Well,
Sound
I see an area in which I can help improve in, and she kind of pointedly looks at Corona's flintlock on her belt. And as long as I can buy food from somewhere that isn't the crap you guys are eating, then I'll tag along. I'll see what this place looks like. But yeah, do be aware, I won't stick around for very long if it's a lot worse off than y'all are selling it to be.
Well, worst case scenario, I don't think they'll, hold you hostage or anything if you want to leave.
I certainly hope not, but I really hate that you planted that in my head like that.
I'm surprised you
not
didn't
the-
think about
not
that.
the best pitch.
Well, I was basing the situation off of all y'all folks and the fact that you're there, and I didn't think you looked like the type of. Well, actually, you are kidnapping someone right now, so never mind.
We gotta stop digging our hole and go.
We're kidnapping a bandit, which you hate.
The only way that would be okay is if. Actually, no, hang on, you're right. You're going to take her to another place where she's going to end up in more pain than I would have caused her. So actually, yeah. Nope, that's as bad as it gets for her. Yeah, you know what? Y'all are definitely sounding a little bit suspicious, but I think I'm still going to go. I have a couple of contingencies if I have to escape.
I don't know why the whole holding you against your will thing came up at all.
Yeah, it's strange.
Like I said, we can get you back here. It's not a big deal.
All right. Well, then lead the way. I'll tag along for now. Anything's better than the way I've been living out here for the last couple of months. Vanya literally, as she gets up and puts the mug down, she picks up the whole platter of ham and just walks out with it.
What
To
queen?
go.
I respect it.
And as you all begin walking, she'll be with a knife, this kind of really wicked looking curved knife she has on her belt, just slicing off pieces, and will stick a piece and offer to somebody.
Ooh, ham.
Yeah, ham? Ham? Nice.
Is there rum in this ham?
He's just walking beside her. Rum ham.
Is it a rum ham?
Yeah, you think there's like a touch of like rum and honey and cloves, maybe?
Oh, that's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But yeah, all right, yeah, y'all gather up all of your various sundries, loot, and because you have Vanya going with you all the way, I will let you tack on an extra 100 pounds of whatever's left from your loot and stack it onto her handcart.
Oh, dang.
Well, that's a whole 2 scale mails.
Yeah. Gets us the armor.
So yeah, like I said, yeah, just tack it on there. Make note of it, whoever is tracking that.
I'll just track that.
Okay.
As we're leaving the village,
Mm-hmm.
Liz is going to kind of just walk a little bit closer to the magical trap house.
Yeah.
Just kind of put a hand on one of the outside walls. Just gonna try to use her feature to try and just ask what the world's going on with this place.
How many points do you use?
I'll use both. Why not?
Okay. So you're outside, kind of put your hand on the exterior of the the whitewashed slate wall. You close your eyes and you focus. You feel somewhere in the back of your mind, Bellathor just kind of quietly observing what you're doing. You're more keenly aware of him now that you've realized you're kind of opening your senses up to more of what he was. Unawares to you, because your eyes are shut, your amulet glows, a rune pulsing lightly. And you just think, intone, ask to yourself, what was going on here? And there's a gentle, warm breeze that kind of wafts between the cottages down the pathway. It smells of cinnamon and lavender. And then you just hear a voice. Not as soft or as gentle as Bellathor. What's going on here is a bunch of these bastard bandits came into town, killed a bunch of the people here, and I came back and found out about it, and I did my best to hurt as many of them as I could. Can I ask of you how we're having this conversation?
Pretty sure it has to do with the amulet that I wear.
Fascinating. You can speak to the dead with that. And not in the limited way that magic can accomplish.
Seems so.
Huh.
I take it you're the one that wove the enchantment on the house.
Yes. My name is Callista Vandrin. At your service.
Lilith Aelana, a pleasure. Well, we killed what bandits were here that we could, if that helps you feel any better.
Did you get the bastard with the eye patch?
It's one of the ones we killed wearing an eye patch.
No.
Fortunately, he got away.
Well, that won't do. Given how malicious he was. A complete and utter sadist. Also a magic practitioner. Loved toying with people's minds. Me the most of all. So, how does this power of yours work?
I'm not really sure.
Do I just live around here and you can come and speak to me every once in a while?
I really don't know.
Hmm.
This is the second ghost I've spoken to.
I'm not the only one. And there's a beat, and you hear the voice, "Oh, I'm not. Hello, darling. Hello."
Oh, you can talk to each other. That's cool.
Well, he might not have realized, but I certainly did. Magic has a way of applying to many different forms, especially and apparently after death. If you don't mind, and I kind of want to impose, if I could endeavor to take upon his position as well and be a tag along.
Sure.
I'm certain to be of use. I know magic, and I can teach you some spells, easy ways to use them, even if you don't have a talent for it. However, I am going to have to insist just one thing.
What's that?
You go and get my hat.
Is there a trick to going inside without falling asleep?
Oh, I see you've been inside already. Typically speaking, having a belonging of mine will help prevent that.
Like this
something.
deck of cards?
Unfortunately, no. Something I would wear normally. However, I can teach you how to disable the magic as well. There's a pouch of rose petals tucked inside the chimney. If you can just go in there quickly and remove the satchel from the chimney, it'll break the spell.
Got it. Is it based on breathing it in?
No, nothing so simple as that. It permeates the air. Being inside without having an article of my belongings will slowly and agonizingly knock you unconscious.
I take it you're not meant to wake up.
No, not really.
Right.
It has a lovely little effect with the cleaning spell I've put in my house, where it will put you to sleep, and after you have perished and you have decayed and you turn to goo and muck and bone, the spell will clean you away. I was hoping to catch a bunch of dumb bandits with it after they'd managed to kill me.
Well, something happened for them to board up your door.
They probably found the remains of the last dum-dum to go through.
Right. Well, sorry about your window. Wolf is going to go around and just kind of quickly as she can hop through the window and go towards the fire to pull out the sack.
Yeah, if you're quick with it, which you are, you can find it. It's kind of tucked up underneath and around, and you can just sort of yank it out. And when you do, noticeably, you kind of like with the same sort of wind that has been carrying the smells into it, you'll feel it sort of sweep all of the scents out of the room.
And she will go over and pick up the hat. Should I wear it, or do you just want me to have it on me?
Well, if you could figure out how to use it, you're more than welcome to use it. I would just prefer for it to be left here for some bandit to come along and finally manage to get it and then wear it around the countryside and, besmirch its beauty with their, frankly, dirty, gross ways.
Kind of clashes with my aesthetic, but I suppose can't be picky in a time of war, and she'll put it on. Anything else I should grab?
If you're the type, I have a bunch of makeup in the drawer that could be useful. It can change color into whatever you want it to be.
She'll grab it.
And there's a small lockbox under the bed.
She'll take that as well.
If you have the hat, you can open it. There's a bunch of potions inside and a spell scroll.
She will open it and just take the potions and scroll then.
Okay.
And then she will slip back out the window and jog to the others.
Catch
They're wearing a hat, very
catch up to them.
obviously taken.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a classic witch's hat, but it's got sort of like curves in its brim that give it a bit more character. But yeah, it's large and white with gold trim and a flower on the band, and the back of it's kind of long and drapes a bit. And it smells weirdly of cinnamon and lavender.
Hey kid, what's with the hat?
I think it might be magical.
Well, when we stop for the night, you can bring me anything you think is magical, and I can tell you all about it.
Sure thing.
What's with the smell?
Smells nice, right?
Well, the house.
Corona just kind of like gestures her head towards what Adi just said.
Quinn didn't catch what Adi said.
She just said it smells like the house, and proceeded to sniff Lilith.
Yeah. Not harmful, though.
I think the big question, Lilith, is did you get that from the house?
Yes, but I did it safely.
All right. In the future, ground rules for everybody. If you plan to go back into a house that knocks you unconscious, tell someone.
Mm-hmm. That's good, solid advice right there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, at least you made it out. You won't have to worry about that place anymore.
Just smiles, adjusts her new hat.
I think it looks striking on you. That said, clashes a little bit with your blue and black. We'll figure it out. Let's get a move on, shall we? We got a long way to go to get home.
And on the way there, y'all can tell me all about your camp and all the wonderful things you have to tell me about it.
Yeah, so you can tell a little about the brothel. You seem so interested in it.
Mm,
Well, yeah, go on.
mm,
Audie's just looking at you with these big, innocent eyes.
why are you doing this to me? You spent more time in there than I did.
And it was quite lovely, yes. The mistress that, the madam of the house, quite lovely.
Oh, she's quite lovely, is she?
Vanya,
Distressing is what she is.
Vanya, did you know that it is most definitely not Roz's first time?
I
First
In
time
a
for what?
brothel, that is.
Exactly.
I mean,
We
no,
prefer to have him in Greenwood.
I mean, no shame in that. Yeah, it's a trade. People work hard at it. And to be quite honest with you, I'm frankly going to stop there pretty soon after I get clean because I've been out here. I ain't seen much of in the way of company in a while, and that sounds delightful.
well,
They
you
have
know,
bats in there.
mercenaries get one service free after every mission.
Honestly,
Basic service.
y'all should have led with that. That's how you convince people to go to your camp.
Lilith is gonna like rummage around a little bit in some of her side pouches and just hold out the
Pull
paper.
the pamphlet. Do you mind if I keep this?
I've memorized it.
Ah, great, thank you.
For reference, the free stuff is all the stuff in the first column.
Right. I mean, kind of parses over it. Yeah, no, that's reasonable. And the rest of this, honestly, is reasonably priced. I mean, I've got a good store of silver here.
Right, well, anyway, instead of talking about the brothel anymore and whether or not it may be someone's first time in that brothel or anything else involved with the brothel, we should just keep walking.
Yeah, of course. So how far away is this place that we're walking to? Past the other town, I take it, given that's where y'all walked up on from originally. So we have like what, 4, 5, 6 hours ahead of us.
Yep.
Well, based off that unanimous agreement, I feel like we have to find something to talk about. You got something against trade workers, Roz?
No, quite the opposite.
I'm detecting a little bit of shame.
I ran screaming out to the brothel my first time there.
That's very big of you to admit, especially to a stranger.
Well, I'm a very open and honest person.
She means she's terrible at lying.
Shut up.
That is a good way of phrasing that, though. I'll give you that. You're not without your guile.
No, and I don't know where it all came from.
It came from my endearing and awkward charm, clearly.
No, I think you've been taking secret lessons from Audie.
I've not been taking lessons.
Audie flashes an innocent smile.
Don't you smile at me.
Are y'all like a part of adoptive family or something? You act like a bunch of siblings.
Small town.
Yeah, how small are we talking?
About 200, and it's been wiped off the map.
Well, that is unfortunate. And I'm assuming this is what everyone gathering at that camp is there to do. Yeah. Deal with the people that did that to you.
More or less.
Yep. Marching army of constructs from the north.
Right. No mission make, but don't really know who's pulling the strings quite yet. Yeah. Well, how about y'all just give me a good briefing as to what you've experienced since everything happened, so I can get a good feel for it, and we won't have to bring up Roz's awkward exchanges in brothels ever again, except for that time.
Together we can give a pretty accurate summary and retell the briefing from the meeting.
And if someone was meticulous enough, you could just still have it. The war report given to the mercs.
Lilith only holds on to important documents like the list of services brought.
Clearly. But yeah, it's very easy to fill up the time as you walk westwardly back towards where you were dropped off from.
Also, I looked at my notes. I think we've only been out a day, unless we've missed a long rest somewhere near.
No.
Yeah, if we go back completely just right now, we're going to be getting back like a day early.
Yeah.
You guys have a tag for it, for the record.
That's true. We can open it early, yeah.
Or we search for some materials in the wilderness while we're out here.
You could also just spend the day gathering materials. That is also true. Because, yeah, again, here, I'll just, again, real honest. So, Quinn brought up a good point. You could go back to where you guys were summoned to, basically set up a nice, comfortable camp that's off the road and out of the way. We probably won't receive any attention and spend some time gathering resources out of the wilderness or doubling back to the town and maybe looting back through there again. Any additional time you spend on the road that is beyond getting back there will be chances for random encounters for a bunch of things, but namely and largely bandit encounters. Just so you all have a good scope as to what your options are.
Well, first things first, how long could we continue walking on this day?
I honestly think you could walk back most of the way to where you were teleported to without it incurring anything. Because I think it'll bring you like roughly to like a full day's like activity.
Do we want to consider having our camp there and not like right where the portal will show up, just in case things go wrong? And like the bandit escapes or whatever, or we get found out by other bandits.
Worst case scenario, we don't want to be right where the portal opens and have them be like looting our bodies in the middle of it being open a day
Right.
later.
Yeah.
And letting all of them know where it is so that they can just set up ambushes for anyone else that comes.
Good point.
I'm happy for the bandits to be dumb enough to try and ambush
Yeah.
the mercenary company.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say too.
Well,
True.
it's the question of how many times did they send newbies like us through this portal before they realized none of them are coming back.
Or I think you're also swinging in the wrong direction of how many bandits you think are actually going to commit to that, and how strong do you think they'll be before they've eventually one side or the other starts sending way more powerful people to deal with it.
True.
Which is to say, you guys are part of a military camp with a bunch of tactical mercenary groups that they would just send out a group to make sure it's secured if it became a problem even once. Versus the bandits, you might
Even
have to
if we
convince
don't
someone
come
strong
back.
enough.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Right. Well, any objections to just getting as far as we can and setting up camp?
Nope.
Sounds good to me.
All right then.
I know a bunch of good camping spots.
Feel free to point them out.
Gladly. Again, you can't have lived out here as long as I have and survived in the wilderness now without knowing a good couple of places to shack up. I'm sorry, that might make Roz uncomfortable. Sleep.
Stop your giggling.
Unfortunately, you're just kind of outmatched. If your friends do it, I'm naturally going to do it. So unless you want to take me out into that road to have that fight at some point.
No, this isn't worth fighting over.
Yeah, she'd be teasing me if it was me who ran out. It's only fair.
Well, you are the one wearing the weird big floppy hat that does not match your aesthetic at all. So, I mean, we can make fun of you too.
She like tries to wiggle her ears a little bit to make the hat like jump up and down.
It is as awkward looking as you think it is, yeah. But, okay. Does anyone have the exact timing it took from all of you to travel from where you started to where we are now?
We got out at 9:30 in the morning and spent an hour in Under Rock
Mm-hmm.
and 30 minutes in Othern.
Okay, so my timing isn't too off. It's about 5 to 6 hours back. So you all will take the now much more burdened by various belongings and loot and goods. Walk your way back to the rough area, eventually passing by Underrock, where you see that the fire has since ceased, and there's just these columns of white smoke billowing up from the center of the town. But it appears just as you've left it, minus the fire. And takes you, only a little bit from there to get back into the rough vicinity of where you would need to go to be in the area for the teleport. The distinct hill in the distance that Titan used for scouting when you first arrived, very easily notable. Vanya will lead you to a camping site that's about 20 minutes away It's where this it's very well disguised in that it looks just kind of like a hill, a grassy hill. But then on the other side, it's in fact a drop off where there's a rocky outcropping that can easily fit, 5-6 people comfortably. A place where you could light a fire and keep its visibility minimal. All right, now all the road ham is gone. Do y'all want me to go find something to eat?
I got meat and I'm tired. So, why don't you find something if you're good?
I feel like that's not a question, but yeah, no problem. I will be right back.
I'm gonna hunt some game or something.
Yep.
Do you want help?
Are you any good?
I'm okay.
Can you stay quiet mostly?
Definitely.
All right, good. At least you're confident in yourself, because yeah, I saw that you could. All right. Lil, you come with me. We'll go find some game and bring it back. Y'all set up camp. I feel like that's a fair trade, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
Lilith will leave behind most of her stuff.
Did
Yeah.
the bandit wake up at any point during this trip?
Yes. It's a very good point. About after 90 minutes or so of walking back, the bandit woke up and began thrashing about. Like, there was no subtle attempt to, like, undo the ropes to escape, but when they came to being carried by Titan, ankles bound, wrists bound, gagged, they just started, like, beating feet and hands against Titan. Futilely, mind you, but they're quite annoying.
They're annoying, but Titan's covered in spikes. The more they thrash around, the worse it gets for them too, so we're both unhappy by the time we set up camp.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think there's a point where the bandit has this dance where they thrash and they cut themselves a bit more or open up old wounds and they just kind of bleed out enough to go back unconscious. But of course, I believe the intention is to not let them die. So of course, you'll patch them up to make sure they survive, then continue the rest of the journey. It happens like once or twice more before you're eventually back where you're back at the camp that we have just mentioned. And the bandits probably now, after a considerable amount of blood loss and exhaustion, probably just unconscious. But so Lilith and Vanya will go out to try to find something to eat. Lilith, are you letting Vanya take the lead?
Yeah, she'll help.
Are you proficient in survival?
Yes.
Neat.
She's just not wise.
It takes you both the better part of like 90 minutes to almost 2 hours. But you come back with a string of hares, of which most of the hunting was done not with Vanya's gun, although she did have it with her, but with a hand crossbow that she had that was neatly folded up and compact and just slid into a belt pouch unawares. And she'll come back and dress the hares and cook some food for everybody. It is nothing special, but it's fresh, fire roasted. No complaints, really. Definitely better than the gruel you're getting back at the camp. So, with all of you having set up camp, and with the day pretty much spent, is there anything of note anyone would like to do prior to taking your long rest?
One thing.
Okay, Roz.
Roz, instead of spending her entire voucher on responsible things, did one irresponsible thing and bought a gift
Gasp.
for Lilith that
No
she
way.
was going to give now. She settles in while we're eating, a big old book in her hands, a nice thick leather-bound tome, and passes it over into Lilith's hands. Giant graphic novel.
It's a special edition.
Lilith will gotta be pulled out of some of her thoughts as the book hits her lap. Looks over at Roz. Is this the gift you were talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
Is there a title on the cover?
Am I allowed to make it up?
Go for it.
Yeah, the title is Resolute, and the front cover is like a split down the middle with like blue and holiness on one side and red and demons on the other, and our protagonist on the center is a half-elven paladin.
So you were just making up a fact that it was smut. To tease me?
There's a little in there. It's mostly an adventure, though.
Well, let's set the book aside and just kind of lean over to give Roz a hug. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you promised to read some of that to me every night, didn't you?
Do you want to start tonight?
Apparently not.
Or should I read ahead a bit?
I lost internet for a second. Sorry, what?
Do you want to start tonight? Or should I read ahead a bit?
I would love to start tonight.
I guess Lilith and Roz are reading through a graphic novel for a bit that evening.
Yeah, weird choice of book to share reading, but okay. Does Lilith do all the sound effects too? The crack and the kapow
Yes.
and the swing and the shing and yeah, all that.
I rolled for how nerdy she is, and I rolled a 4. So yes, she does.
I love how low it means really nerdy. I kind of take offense to that.
Before going to bed, Titan's identifying potions and any of the magic items Lilith is willing to let him identify.
Yes, she will essentially shove over everything that everything she found in the house.
Okay. Which was 2 vials, 1 red, 1 green. And Callista's hat.
And possibly the deck of cards up to Lilith.
Yep, she'll hand over the deck of cards as well as the makeup and everything, and just basically just like, here's everything I found.
Okay.
And lots of identifying.
Yeah. Which is no problem for Titan. So, I'll get the easy ones out of the way. The healing potion, the red one is a healing potion. It is a level 2 healing potion.
Let's see.
The deck of cards are in fact magical, but they don't reveal details of themselves to you, other than the fact that they can only be used while wearing Callista's hat, which is the item that you will have Lilith give to you. Which I will shove into your inventory. And the last one is a vial of sleeping poison. It can be applied to a weapon, and if they fail by a certain DC, it will knock them unconscious. Or if you put it in someone's food and they willingly imbibe it, it knocks them unconscious after a minute.
Fun stuff. I think there was the scroll as well, right?
Yes, there is in fact a spell scroll. Granted, the spell scroll doesn't really need to be identified more than it just needs to be read by somebody who has the ability to comprehend it. However, the only arcane caster in the group is not the one doing the identifying, if only because that person isn't an arcane caster yet. So Ben, if you'd like to make me an Arcana check, you can figure out what the scroll is.
Modified 20.
Very good. The scroll is a spell scroll of Bane. And whoever wrote the spell scroll has incredibly nice handwriting.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Just editing some things. There we go. Okay, I have added the healing potion, the spell scroll of Bane, and Callista's hat to Titan's inventory. The poison I have to make, but I will then add when it is done. And the deck is, for the most part, still just like I haven't made an item for it, but it can just be listed as Callista's deck of fate.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else this evening? For anybody else?
Nope.
None for me.
Seems
Lilith
good.
was going to talk to Ghost, but then she got distracted by a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm. Lilith, make an insight check for me.
Oh, Lilith. Do you even have a modifier? No, you don't do.
Yeah, you think the ghosts are absolutely loving the graphic novel time.
I have no reason to believe that to be a lie.
Yep. Okay. You all are in a secure space. You can achieve a long rest. Please make note of it. Recover your character sheets and your resources. And due to usual shenanigans, I have to run to the restroom yet again. So talk amongst yourselves, figure out what needs to be done, and what you primarily want to do with the remainder of the day while you're waiting for your time to catch up and you guys can go back to camp. Whether or not if you want to go maybe hunt for bandits or just herbs. I'll be right back.
I'm guessing we'll take some sort of watch overnight.
Well,
Yeah.
can take 2. Because elf things.
Roz and Lilith being up during the same shift is definitely responsible.
I'm pretty sure Roz will like hear the tone of Lilith's voice and just like pass out halfway through.
Oh, yeah. She'll pass out holding Lilith by the waist. Lilith continues reading.
I don't know. If they're going to read it together, she can't read ahead.
Ugh,
Sacred code.
how very admirable. All right, so do we want to hunt for bandits or stuff?
I'm sure if you look for one, you'll find the other.
Yeah, but if we're looking for stuff and we find bandits, we might not be ready for bandits.
It's true.
I mean, the player in me wants to hunt bandits.
Same, but not the character.
Yeah. I think bringing back resources would probably be more beneficial to the camp, would be my guess.
Mhm.
Well, then I'll just quietly hope that we get found by bandits. But yeah, this is a great place for us to look for like curatives that we can turn into healing potions.
I imagine there's stuff around, yeah. With Titan's knowledge of medical herbs, I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem. I'll help point stuff out.
For what it's worth, Dyer, we do set up a watch for the night.
Yes.
That's probably smart. I'm glad someone thought of it. With that in mind, what does the shared watch list look like?
Well, we'll take the back half.
Reasonable.
What
about,
take first?
Okay, first. What about second?
Titan will take second.
Okay. Does anybody want to double up? Because everybody can reasonably take a single shift without much complaint. So, Roz or Audie, do you want to pal around with somebody on their shifts?
Audie will probably try and stay up late. It's what she's kind of used to. So she'll be up with Corona and probably fall asleep partway through Titans.
Okay.
Well, then Roz up in the morn with Lilith.
Fair. In which case, Vanya will replace Audie when Audie nods off.
Sure.
Quinn?
I was going to say, during the 2-hour stint where Lilith has Roz to also keep watch, she will spend that time trying to have a conversation with her now 2 ghost friends.
Right. Okay. So to start off the night, why don't Corona and Audie give me some perception checks?
Sure.
Let's see what you see and or hear and or smell.
I'll take that.
That's not bad.
14?
Twinsies.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah. Everyone is settling in for the night, getting comfortable under the outcropping. You guys have a low fire to keep you warm. Granted, you guys are used to this environment. You know, you've lived in this northern side of the continent for a long time, and the weather over here is very similar to where Greenwood is. If anything, Greenwood's a bit colder. Um, 2 hours go by, watching, maybe light conversation, maybe a quiet song from Adi, but nothing happens.
I think I'm not. There would be quiet conversation, I'm sure, but the one thing that Corona would ask Adi is, and it probably comes off as really weird and sudden, but she'll ask her, "Hey, Melody, what size footwear do you wear?"
And Audie kind of gives a weird look and looks down at her foot and then lifts her foot in the air. I don't really know, but that size? She kind of gives the look like she hasn't really ever been fitted for shoes in a size before. I guess, did Greenwood have a cobbler, I'm guessing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they were just kind of always made for her foot. She never thought
They
about
just
it.
knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Corona will kind of chuckle and say, "Oh, makes sense. I should have figured. I just noticed that on the way to the first village, you're struggling a bit, so I thought I'd make something for you once I got the tools. But, well, I don't."
Yeah, turns out the boots that I had were for long walks. Good enough for today, but not good for adventuring.
Well, if you like, I'd be happy to make something for you. If it'll make it more comfortable for you.
Never turn it down.
Alright, well then, maybe I'll find you at camp and ask you. Still gotta find a set of tools anyway. And that's it.
Yeah,
That's
okay. All right, then moving on. It's gonna be Titan and Vanya. If you'd like to roll me a perception check, Ben.
Yep. Oh, not 20.
Nice.
For a
Hey.
total of... Where are you? Perception. 21.
Very good. Vanya rolls a 15. During this stretch, of which I suspect when you were trading out with Corona and Audie, realizing Audie fell asleep, tuck her in, come back, Vanya's at the campfire, and both just kind of settle in. She's got her rifle, leaned up against her side, ready to, snap to as necessary, and the night goes about pretty quietly for a bit. Is there anything, in particular you would want to say during the watch, or is this just kind of like a quiet vigil?
Oh, yeah. Titan wants to talk to Vanya.
Shoot.
It's just gonna... So, how long have you been on the road? Dealing with the bandits,
She sits back, kind of kicking her feet up on a log. Well, actively hunting them about 6 months. Living from campsite to campsite, better part of a decade. I was free and clear for a little bit, when fall of Utgard, a bunch of political things happen. Armies try to police people. People don't like it because they're not paying attention to the bigger problem. And all the whole outwards spread from Utgard just kind of deteriorated. People started coming in, taking advantage of those folks that couldn't defend themselves because everyone else that could was too busy squabbling. So I was living in a further city, one further east, And it was good for a little bit, but eventually, a couple of years go by, things aren't getting better. Trouble in large numbers shows up at our doorstep, and push comes to shove. City crumbles. And I'm out here.
I mean, pretty succinct way to describe the fall of an entire kingdom like Utgard.
Well, yeah, but I don't exactly have time to give you the whole history lesson now, do I? It's going to take more than our watch shift to talk about it all.
Nah, I get it. But, tell me the truth. You think I'm gonna get anything useful out of her? And he gestures at the bandit.
You see her turn and regard the bandit. Consider it for 15, 20 seconds. And then she just turns back and looks at you. Well, to be honest with you, I think the only good bandit's a dead one. And given how high up on the totem pole this one was, which was not very high, don't expect you're going to get a whole lot out of her. But you never know what they might have been eavesdropping on. The bandits are always trying to figure out ways to, two-time one another or blackmail one another in some way, shape, or form. So she could have been gathering something, figure something out.
Because, I lied when I said there might be people back at camp better at getting information. I know a lot about hurting people. You kinda learn it when you become a doctor.
Well, given what I saw you do to those bandits that attacked you in town, I believe you. And honestly, no shame to you. That person knows something and you need it. They don't give it up. You make them.
That's, very much how I feel about the situation. Trouble is, I'm not sure anyone else in the party understands. They've all lived pretty sheltered, never been in the world, never experienced the pain, never suffered bandits.
Well, I mean, I think this goes one of two ways, Doc. You either take the bandit back, say you're going to deliver them to the proper authorities, sequester them away somewhere else, and then go do your thing. And eventually, that might work for a bit where they believe you that's what you're doing, and they eventually find out that that wasn't what you were doing, it was you all along, and then you have that confrontation. Or you just tell them up front right now, and they at least accept it for what it is, or find a way to work through it. I don't suspect they're going to abandon you or do anything like that.
I just worry about them, Like they said, small village. I watched most of them grow up. They're gonna have to face some hard truths out here.
Yeah.
If I could shelter them a little longer, I would.
You really doing them any favors by doing that?
Titan rubs his chin, thinking. I don't know. Like I said, they were even just thinking we'd be setting the bandit free.
Vanya just shrugs. Oh. I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself what you care more about. Shielding them a little longer from the terrible shit that they're going to have to deal with. Or being honest with them and preparing them for the terrible shit they're going to have to deal with. Because if it's a war, it's going to happen eventually.
You're right. It's just harder to look them in the eye and tell them that terrible shit is coming from their old friend and colleague, the town doctor.
Well, the sooner they know, the sooner they can try to do something about it. Because if I've learned anything from the short time I've been with all y'all, is that y'all are pretty close. And if push comes to shove, you're going to help one another. You might as well let them help you, Doc.
Titan nods. Well, I respect your advice on this. Still, I don't really want them to see what I do. When they all go out tomorrow, you just keep them busy, you know? I'll be here with the bandit, finding out what I can.
You sure don't want to wait until you're back at camp? You could at least cover it up a bit there.
Nah. If she knows anything, who knows how time-sensitive this stuff can be. We could prevent another raid on a town. Save a few lives.
Vanya will put both of her hands up in surrender. All right, Doc. I'll keep him busy tomorrow. Plenty of scavenging and gathering to do around here. Up until however the hell we're getting to your camp turns up.
Thanks, Vanya. I know it's not your problem, but you seem like a good person.
Much in the way that, sometimes good people have to do bad things. Yeah, I guess I'm a good person.
I mean, they seem to like you too. Although, I do need to give them a talk about maybe not openly talking about everyone's sexual activities with strangers.
Well, it was a decent icebreaker. You got to give him that.
They have their fun. But you never know who will actually try and hurt them over this stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
No. then it'll kind of switch to small talk from there.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'm signing off for the night. I can't hang on any longer.
Okay,
Thanks,
then.
everybody. Titan's going to be at camp torturing people. Have fun.
Have a good night.
Have
Good
a
night,
good
buddy.
night.
On that note, unfortunately, before I could get it out, Ben didn't have to leave, which is understandable. There was something that was going to happen, but it wasn't going to be anything nuts. During Vanya and Titan's watch, there was a sighting of a creature, an enormous bird. And enormous doesn't quite do it because it was closer to the size of a small castle. It quickly swept over the plains in the distance, and with it brought just this absolutely gigantic gust of wind that smothered the remains of the fire, stirred a couple of people from their sleep. And for those that were awake, and perhaps those waking up, there's like this layer of static electricity that clings to people's hairs standing up. Those of you that are kind of curled up in bedrolls and things, especially Lilith, who has really long hair, just a bunch of things are stuck to her hair now. Which I think is quite funny, given that it is your start of your shift next, Lilith.
She looks up like, what the stars?
Time to wake up.
Did a storm blow through? She's like picking leaves out of her hair.
Nope. Big gigantic bird. Like bigger than the average galleon.
Okay. Well, hopefully it didn't see us.
Well, it didn't pay us no mind. I did have to restoke the fire a bit, but other than that, definitely something worth seeing. Something I've never seen before. So, if you see it again, probably wake us up, because then it maybe came back for a snack. But if otherwise, probably don't worry about it too much.
Yeah. Nothing else of note though.
Nope. Right, Doc? Nothing. Titan nods.
Get some sleep.
Gladly. Yeah, Vanya just curls up, leaned against a rock with her bedroll blanket wrapped around her like a cocoon. Gun still nestled inside with her. This leg is just by yourself, right, Lilith?
I think so. Roz was going to join for the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it's just me.
Fire away.
Dirty 20.
Really good. And it is good enough to let you see the amazing starscape overhead, as it is a cloudless night, and there are just thousands of stars in the sky. It is an otherwise uneventful watch. Except
But
you wanted to talk to some ghosts.
she's going to save that for when Roz is up, so that she's not focusing too much on something other than keeping watch.
Right. That's fair. I figured Roz would be a distraction. Therefore, you couldn't hold two conversations.
She will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Well then, the first leg of your watch is uneventful, Lilith. The second leg, you go wake up Roz.
Just gently shake her shoulder. Roz,
Right.
time for your watch.
All right. I'm up. gonna storm. My hair's so static.
Apparently, massive weird bird flew overhead a few hours ago. Hasn't come back
Alright.
though.
Alright. Well, if it comes back, we'll eat it. She's
Like-
like half awake.
Like bigger than a galleon, apparently.
Oh, big's a galleon.
Really big.
Alright, so it would feed us for a couple days.
Sounds very good.
Oh, I'm awake. I'm actually awake now. Hi.
Hey, you mind covering the watch for a bit? I have to have a conversation.
With who? We're the only ones awake.
She makes like a head tilting back and forth motion and looks at Ross.
Don't get it.
Ghosts?
Plural.
Yeah, I picked up a new one.
You picked where?
The woman who enchanted that house.
Oh. Okay. Sure, I'll watch the place and you just have a conversation with the ghosts in your head.
I mean, it's a conversation, so if you notice anything, just call for me.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, you two.
So allow me to be the first one to ask, because Bellathor has not been willing to tell me. Are you two a couple?
Couple of besties.
Oh, honey, you're so awkward.
I get that a lot.
All right, I won't pry any further. I have my answer.
So, Bellathor, you wanted to talk about alchemy, and Callista, you mentioned magic.
Indeed, I did.
We've got a couple hours. I'm here to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, short version is, I've updated Bellathor's abilities in the latter workshop doc. I've only because I haven't finished them, so it's still there. Bellathor's expertise in alchemy and nature, he can basically share with you. So while you have your bonded spirit with you, which you can change over a long rest, you are proficient with nature and alchemist tools, and you have advantage in alchemy crafting rolls. If you use your active bonus for Bellathor, you can, over the course of a short rest, improve a number of healing potions equal to your proficiency bonus. Well, you have alchemist supplies and the healing potions necessary. For the next 24 hours, any creature that drinks them gets the maximum effect. So instead of rolling, it would be 6+ con mod.
Fun stuff.
Callista's has not been filled out because, well, you didn't know who Callista was, and I didn't want to do that work, and then you stumble into the document and go,
Definitely for the better. I definitely read this like a couple hours after you updated it.
I completely believe it. Which is to say, I will have it updated before the next session. But the short version is, while Callista is your bonded spirit, she's going to help you to be able to better identify magic. You'll be proficient in Arcana. You'll have advantage in disarming magical traps as long as she's with you. And the active bonus, you can access any first level spell from the spell list in which she had and cast it as if you had a first level spell slot. and you can do that once per short rest, or you can spend an inspiration point to cast another spell.
Ooh.
For what it's worth, the list I'll end up sending you the spell list separately because it would be atrocious to put it in the table. But if you go look up Kibble's occultist class, it's that class that her spell list is based off of.
I will give it a look at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Probably immediately after the session.
Probably. And at some point, I'm sure Titan will probably give you the hat back. But this is Callista's hat. Did it give a pop-up?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Ooh. The
That's pretty
temptation
cool.
to keep it myself is good. It's a lot, but also that'd be really good for Audie.
Yeah, so weirdness, because you don't have a spellcasting modifier technically. You would use Callista's, which is unfortunately wisdom.
Oof. So it'd be a +0. Well, would it be her wisdom or my wisdom?
Your wisdom.
Oh, so it would be 0 AC.
All right, so you could cast Augury at will at least.
Titan mentioned, I assume Titan would have mentioned the deck being magical but can only be used while wearing the hat.
Correct.
She'll ask Callista what that's about. Like, what does the deck do?
Well, I use the deck for divination purposes. And it allows me to inquire of greater things from the future, to put it simply. I was in the middle of a reading when I had a rude awakening.
Well, I could describe the cards to you if I did flip them over.
Go ahead and tell me. I'll ponder on them for the time being.
She'll describe the cards in order that she flipped them.
Well, if this is somehow relevant for you, I'll bring it up again later. Otherwise, thank you for being able to give me the reading that I wasn't able to finish myself.
Of course, I'm sure you know better what they mean than I do.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Or maybe it's all just a mystery.
Well, fate is often fickle.
Well, I'd like to thank both of you for the help that you're offering me, and I will do my best to help you in turn. I'm still figuring all of this out.
Well, I'm more than happy to not be technically dead yet. I'm just existing in a different, transient state, and that's fine. We'll probably be able to solve this at some point. So I'm more than happy to help if it means extending this longer.
Happy to help. And I suppose at least even if I'm distracted, you have company.
Yes, Bellathor is a little reserved, but we have a little bit in common. You hear just you just feel like an affirmation from Bellathor. We can speak on alchemy.
Well, if there's anything else you want to talk about, I'm always open. think I can really shut you out if you want to talk to me. So
Well, I'll chime in as necessary, but no, I'm enjoying the dynamic of all of you and your friends so far. That being said, why don't you go spend some time with your best friend? She looks a little lonely by the fire.
Lilith's cheeks just go bright red. Right. I'm sure I'll have questions for you later about this relic that you seem to know more about than I do, to be honest.
All in good time, my dear. All in good time.
She will clear her throat and shift over to the fire to sit next to Roz.
Mm-hmm. And in your head, you just hear, Roswin, dear, we're coming.
She like chokes a little on the way.
You all right? You're bright red.
Roz, the dead are teasing me.
I'm sorry?
She just looks at you with big, pleading eyes.
I'm sorry, they're teasing you.
Roz, it's not funny. They are in my head.
After what happened to me today, this is absolutely funny.
Hmm?
No, do tell. Do tell. Tell me everything that they're saying.
They asked if we were a couple.
Oh. And what did you say?
She opens her mouth and then shuts it. Does that a couple times. And then just very meekly, like, I told them we were a couple of besties.
And we are.
I am so bad at this. She rests her head on Ross's shoulder.
You are very bad at this, but it's very cute watching you get all red like this.
At least I didn't run out of the brothel and faceplant.
I will scream in rage and wake everyone up. So help me. I will tell them everything about what's going on in your head. I'll tell them every little thought. I'll tell them you threatened me with a rope.
Just pulls her head back and glares.
I will. Your friends in your head know that she did that.
Lilith, Dill, pay attention. She's telling you things she's interested in.
Both eyes kind of like shift away, like she's listening.
Are they saying stuff right now?
They're telling me to pay attention because you're listing things you're obviously interested in.
I'm. All right, you in there. This is not your relationship. This is mine and Lilith's. You avert your eyes or whatever you got.
You can go ahead and tell her, Lilith. There's no way I can possibly do that.
They actually can't.
That's awkward.
Yeah.
So this is our relationship for the time being.
Not gonna say that. That's a little weird.
Well, pity them. They're dead and they just get to watch you have fun.
Ross, that doesn't make it better.
Yeah. You feel Bellathor somewhere in your mind, Lilith, get really distant.
I think you scared one of them. The other one
Fine.
I am imagining is somehow eating ghost popcorn right now.
Fine. I'm not backing off unless you want me to either way.
She's just gonna grumble and put her head back on your shoulder.
Roz is just going to kiss Lilith at this point. You see that? That's ours, and they can't experience that for us.
Callista lets out a whistle.
Best couple of friends, eh?
She is very caught off guard. Too many thoughts. Kind of has looked like she's flatlining. Her brain is stopped. You broke her. Good job, Roz.
Right. Well,
Lilith, make a wisdom save.
11,
Actually, make a charisma save.
12.
12. Lilith, while your brain is scattered and running everywhere which way, because you're uncertain how to respond, for a brief moment, Callista takes over. Roz, you can noticeably see that Lilith's eye color changes.
oh,
Hello, dear. It is not Lilith's voice.
the elation and happiness becomes somewhere between anger and confusion. Who are you?
My name is Callista. I'm one of Lilith's new occupants.
Uh-huh.
She seemed a little frantic, and I'm still understanding the limitations of, well, my new existence, and I figured I'd give this a shot.
Uh-huh.
Don't mind me. I'm here for only a couple more seconds. Lilith's senses will recover.
Uh-huh.
For what it's worth, Roswin, you might not like us right now, but our best interests are in keeping Lilith alive and healthy. So in that regard, we should be friends. Yes?
At the very least, we have the same goal.
Good. And Lilith, suddenly you're there. You just feel like your hyperventilating episode is finished. You don't realize what happened.
Whew. Where were we?
You weren't here for a second.
Yeah, well, that tends to happen when I panic.
No, I mean that literally. You weren't here. Callista was.
Like floating next to me.
I mean that your eye color changed and you weren't you anymore.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, that's new, all right.
She'd say something?
Mostly that we're on the same side and that she has every interest in keeping you safe and healthy as I do.
That's good, right?
Yeah, just not a fan of the idea that you pick up too many of these, especially one who might be hostile to you. Are you still going to be you?
Yeah, I can handle it.
I hope so. And if you can't, we might need to find someone who can help you with that.
I'm sure I'll learn more about this thing in time.
I hope so.
Come here. And she's just gonna pull Roz into a hug.
Well,
I'm okay.
it's a nice big hug, though perhaps a slightly scared one.
That's why it's a tight hug.
Mhm. Finally. Why don't you both make perception checks?
7.
Great.
16.
The good news is, despite how awkward it is now, nothing happens. And the watch comes to an end, and everyone is rested and happy. Or at least rested, in maybe the case of some.
Ooh, morning.
But with morning have come, and Ben having left, and with some weird realizations come to light, I think we will call it quits there. So where we don't have a ton to catch up Ben on. Granted, I'm sure he's going to read the recap and go, what happened? So.
And that's when you can go watch the VOD.
And that is when you can go watch the VOD. Uploaded every week onto YouTube. Just with the breaks cut out. Yeah, so we're finished. Rejoice. Celebrate. I don't know. Do something.
Yay.
Yay!
But also, oh, we're finished.
Oh, we're finished. Sorry, I'm trying to get better about not letting it overbleed too much, even though everybody seems to be vibing with it. You know, it's just not a good habit to get lost in. And as per usual, we're going to go raid Dork Tales. Because again, they're great people. And yeah. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to my lovely, adoring players. Regardless of how often I say this, I mean it every time, which is I hope everyone's enjoyed themselves in their time. Because I have.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry, everyone was so exuberant. I had to counterpoint.
Such an emphatic yes. Jeez.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I got a little put off, but like not in a bad way. Just all right. Really into it. No problem with that. Yeah. So hopefully everyone is enjoying it as much as Kay is. And we hope you join us again next week, same time, same place. And yeah, you know, hopefully as our players do, and maybe not always as our players do. You know, don't go sniffing cinnamon. And if you don't, then you're probably making good choices, which is the mantra here. So yeah, make good choices. We'll see you next week. Go say hi to Dork Tales for us.
Bye, chat. Thanks for hanging out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I put a space between the name. It was wrong.
Raid counter.
It's going. We're raiding. We're loading the cannon. Loading. Firing. See y'all later.